In today's video, we'll go over why the Brooklyn Nets are falling apart. But before we start, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Now, without further ado, let's get started. The Brooklyn Nets are off to a bad start this 2022-23 season, with their biggest problem being team chemistry and defense. On the defensive end, the Nets are awful and play with little to no urgency on a nightly basis, which is honestly surprising since they have Ben Simmons and Royce O'Neal on their team, two great defenders. Not even they can turn things around. Let's rewind for a moment and go through a recap of the Nets season to show you just how bad they were from the very first game of the regular season. For their first game, they played against the New Orleans Pelicans and were defeated 130-108. But wait until we dive into their numbers. Kevin Durant actually had a good game offensively, but he was minus 23 when on the floor. Kyrie Irving shot 6 for 19 from the field and 0 for 6 from 3 while being a minus 18 when on the floor. As for Ben Simmons, he was a minus 26 and only scored 4 points in 23 minutes. They clearly struggled, but it was the complete opposite for the Pelicans. Zion Williamson had 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 steals while being a plus 13 in just 30 minutes played. Brandon Ingram had 28 points while being a plus 23 while on the court. CJ McCollum was plus 23 on the court, scoring 21 points. The Pelicans' big three had no problem picking apart the Nets' defense, but that's still not the worst part about this particular game. The Pelicans pulled down a ridiculous 61 total rebounds to their 39, showing just how much effort Brooklyn had that night, or the lack thereof. They also committed 16 turnovers this game, and 9 of them were between KD, Kyrie, and Simmons. While they did win their second game against the Toronto Raptors 109-105, Raptors center Pascal still managed to score 37 points on 15 of 21 from the field. But not to nitpick, they had a good overall game. In the next game, they would lose to Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja and Desmond Bane combined for 76 points, and their team shot 47% from 3. While KD and Kyrie both had 37 points, their defense proved yet again they were incapable of making stops. For their next game, they faced off against the Greek Freak and the Bucks, and to no one's surprise, the Nets lost again despite the Bucks committing 18 turnovers. Kyrie Irving scored 27 points but shot 9 of 21 from the field and an awful 0 of 7 from 3. And not to mention, 9 of his points came from the free throw line. KD had a pretty solid game and Ben Simmons scored only 4 points, but to his credit, chipped in 9 assists, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals. They then went on to lose their next 2 games to the Dallas Mavericks and Indiana Pacers. At the recording of this video, they just came off another loss and things are beginning to look worse and worse. Let's talk about one of their biggest problems, Ben Simmons. He still doesn't shoot the basketball or even attempt a jump shot, and it's making him seem unplayable at times. The defenses are sagging off of Simmons, which in result is clogging the lane and encouraging the defense to send double teams at Durant and Kyrie. While Ben is averaging over 7 assists per game, it just doesn't overshadow his limited offense. At least for the Los Angeles Lakers, Russell Westbrook at least tries to score the basketball and is usually extremely aggressive when attacking the basket. Even with Simmons being 6'10" and weighing over 240 pounds, he rarely puts it to use, which is honestly the most frustrating part of his game. If he could attack to the rim aggressively 5 or 6 times a game, it would open up so much for his offense as well as the team's offense. There's really no point in bringing up what he should do offensively because he has made it clear he isn't going to shoot a jump shot, wide open or not. Another reason the Nets are officially falling apart is because as of recently, they fired head coach Steve Nash after a 2-5 start. While we don't think he was the main culprit behind the team's lack of success, we do agree with the front office making a major move early in the season rather than further down the road. This gives the Nets more time to figure things out as a group, but that's highly unlikely to happen. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons aren't proven leaders, so it will take a miracle for those 3 to be on the same page on and off the court. Here on this channel, we like to give solutions to major problems. So with that being said, how or can the Nets turn their season around? The answer to that is very difficult and tricky, and it would require 3 or 4 things to happen. First, Kevin Durant would have to continue to put up great numbers on even greater efficiency. We're talking 30 to 32 points per game through this season and becoming a better playmaker. That isn't easy. While KD isn't washed or out of his prime, he is 34 years old, and we've witnessed him miss key game-altering shots this year that he normally converts. When it comes to playmaking, he is currently averaging more turnovers than assists. And when you look at the best players in the NBA, they're all good to great passers. Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, the Greek Freak, Curry, and even Ja Morant share that trait. The next thing that must happen is Kyrie must stay on the court and clean up his off-the-court issues. And given Kyrie has a strong personality, that's not going to be easy. But when he's on the court, he's still the same Kyrie we've grown to love throughout the years who can drop 40 in a heartbeat. But none of that matters if he can't stay on the court. The next thing is Ben Simmons has to start scoring the basketball, and it shouldn't be up for debate. Now, we're not saying he needs to launch up 100 threes all game long, but he needs to be aggressive and finish strong in transition and in the half court like we all know he can. Averaging around 11 to 13 points would be ideal, and he's more than capable of doing it. Yes, he's a good passer and defender, but when it comes down to the wire in tough games, the Nets need players who can score the basketball and not become a liability. Enough of what we think. What do you think is next for the Brooklyn Nets? Let us know down in the comments section below. Did you enjoy this video? If so, hit the like button and subscribe to NBA Swish for more amazing NBA content just like this. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.